Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fury Boys Racing Channel. I'm John and this is my hill climb sprint car. I recently went up to Beaver Springs to see my tuner Mikey McCracken to get a few things taken care of that I've been wanting to do since we got this thing on the track. I'm gonna go through those things right now and show you what I got going on. As you can see, I just got this thing off the trailer, but as far as the valve covers go here, you can see that I've swapped them out, and I mounted the as you can see, I've mounted the coil brackets, or the coils, up here. And the way I have this set up is that this bracket right here is bolted into the valve cover. So when I take the valve cover off, all I have to do is take these 4 bolts out, the plug wires, and this AN hose, and the whole thing will come off with the coils and everything attached. So that'll be super easy for servicing and checking things on the fly. Then, as a result of swapping these out, I had to go to this type of a catch can system, which I was going to do anyway. All of this was all planned in the future. It just kind of forced my hand when we found the warped valve cover. So I went to this whole system. It cost a chunk of money to do the whole conversion between the plumbing, the catch can, the valve covers, and then also I added this into that, which is the overflow tank for the radiator, as you can see. These are both from Motion Raceworks. I might have mentioned them before, but they're all plumbed up now. I got all the plumbing from Monkey Fab Garage. They make, where they supply a very good product and they stand behind it. So I got that all plumbed up. As you can see, this one just comes out from under here, goes under the intake, and they both go into here. I think I've mentioned that I was going to do that in the past, but as you can see, I have got it done. Okay, on to the things that I took care of with Mikey McCracken up at Beaver Springs. The first thing was that I wanted to set up the no-lift shifting, and what we had to do was be able to tell the ECU, which is right over there, in case you don't know already. But we had to take, this wire tells the ECU when I'm shifting, and the ECU kills the timing for the engine, which unloads the forces of the drivetrain and allows the gear to go in a lot easier. Now, if you didn't have that, you have to do it with your foot. You obviously, you just lift up on the throttle, and it has the same effect. So this allows me to basically keep my foot flat on the ground while I'm shifting, which is really, really nice, and takes one more thing that I don't want to worry about off my plate. So also, I moved around the buttons here. I had these holes drilled already, but just had to do a little bit of clearancing to get this one over into here. Not a very big deal, but the reason why I moved them around is I wanted to have more positive control on the front side for my grip. So by doing this, it allows me to have one more finger on the front side, and it also allows me to not mess up the buttons a lot easier. I know that the one that's on my thumb is upshift because it's the higher one, and I know the one on my index finger is downshift because it's the lower one, and it's also easier to select the gear for downshifting if it's on the front. So that's the reason why I went to that. I might have to do a little bit more clearancing to get a little bit more engagement on the threads for this guy here. Not a big deal at all. And then also the solenoid down here, it does take a lot of juice every time it shifts, but it's recovering pretty quickly with the alternator that I do have. If that becomes an issue, I can always upgrade the alternator and attack that at that point if needed. A couple other things was that Mikey wanted to mess with the tune. The idle was a little off, but once he did clean everything up and then adjusted also some of the parameters for the starting procedure, it actually sounded so much better. Things like that, that's what makes a good tuner over a guy like me who's just trying to get by doing his own stuff. But as far as tuning goes, I trust the professionals, and I don't think you could find anybody more professional than Mikey. So anyway, what I had here is I only had the option of using buttons for my fan and my water pump. and I did not have those wired into the ECU or anything like that. So that was another thing that we wanted to take care of, and we did. So that just involved adding 2 wires to the ECU, and that basically is now taken care of by the ECU automatically when the ignition is on. Now, when I want to turn the engine off and still run the fan and the water pump, I can do that. I'll just have to use the buttons for that. But as you can see here, I'm going to turn on the ignition, and I'll show you this here. Load that up. So you can see this, well, I guess it's just, you know, kind of the indicator circle right here. There's another one here, and as you can see, one says water 1, the other one says fan 1. So those will light up in green when they are on. Now, as soon as the engine turns on, the electric water pump is triggered to activate at 500 RPMs. So basically instantly. And the fan over here will come on at a preset temperature. I think we have it set to like 160 or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, that was a major thing, because sometimes I went out on my runs and forgot to turn the fan and the water pump on. So that could be pretty detrimental to your engine and drivetrain if you forget to do that, obviously. In talking with Mikey about some things that we can do to improve the car, we discussed traction control. Now, there's a few things that you have to do in order to do that, but they're actually kind of easy things, and the computer is already set up to do it. We just need to add the sensors. One sensor that we need to do or add is the drive shaft sensor. Now, the sensor itself wouldn't be a hard thing to mount. However, the reluctor wheel that does go to it is going to be a little bit more difficult. Now, the reason why I'm facing the camera in here is because right behind that guard is the universal and the yoke for the drive shaft. And I think that's the only area that I'm going to be able to add a reluctor wheel for the sensor. So more on that to come, but there is no room anywhere else on the drivetrain. I've examined it, 6 ways from Sunday, but still haven't come up with a good solution there. Now, another sensor we do have to add will be a wheel sensor, a wheel speed sensor. It would basically run another reluctor wheel down in this area, and I would have another speed sensor, and that speed sensor would take the reading from the drive shaft sensor and compare it to this sensor, and it would basically tell the ignition to cut a certain amount for the rear wheels to grip back up. So there's plenty more content to come on the updates and upgrades to the car. Right now, I am working on getting everything ready to submit for Pikes Peak this year. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before, but it's a invitational event, and you have to submit to be selected for the race. It's based on a lot of things, basically who you are as a driver and or the vehicle that you're driving. So hopefully this thing gets me a chance to tackle the mountain. I also have some friends out that way, and they were very eager and very gracious enough to accept the offer to join our team. So we'll be working with those guys out there. Casey, thank you so much. I'm also going to get with the race director and anybody I need to talk to over at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb and see what I need to do, if there's anything I need to do to the car or anything that they suggest when I submit or anything like that. So I'm just going to reach out to those people. Also going to talk to some of the guys here in Pennsylvania about anybody having experiences out there and see if they can lend a hand in helping me figure out some of the things like logistics and stuff like that. I rely on a lot of people that I have in my racing family in order to get to where I am, and I couldn't be more appreciative of those people. So if you're one of those people and you're watching this right now, thank you. So now that we're firmly into the off season, I'm going to try to find as many events as I can for next year, or maybe even somewhere, down south during the off season to run this thing. I want to get as much seat time as possible. Also, I'm going to go to the PRI show here coming up in just about a week or so, and see what other things that we can use on this car to develop it, and also try to network and try to figure out, see how much research that we can do for Pikes Peak out there. So more to come on all that. I'll probably have a short video on PRI. It doesn't seem to do well as in, other videos. But you know me, I'll just post the content anyway, even if it doesn't get any of the views. I just want to keep you guys informed and keep anybody that really cares up to speed on all this stuff. So if you can, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye.